Well, good morning, campers, and welcome to the Backstage at Festival of the Future. It's like every other festival you've been to, except we don't play music.
And the entire event is virtual.
It certainly is. So let's do some intros, shall we? So I'm Matt Prosser, and I'm the Chief Executive of Dorset Council.
And I'm Aidan Dunn. I'm a director at Dorset Council. So if you've tuned in, wondering why we're sat in our virtual camper vans, we'd better explain what the Festival of the Future is and why we're here. So this week, it's National Digital Leaders Week here in the UK. Nationally and globally, we're in an accelerated period of digital transformation and change. And we recognise that organisations and individuals are grappling with and trying to understand what this means, what works, what doesn't, and where can we get some good advice.
And here in Dorset, which is a beautiful county on the southwest coast of England, please do come and visit once the pandemic's over. We've got a strong history of innovation and digital change. And we're really excited about the future, and we wanted to celebrate that history and energise that future. So we thought, what better way than hosting a festival during a pandemic?
So starting at 9 o'clock this morning, we have 64 virtual sessions taking place over the next 3 days. Now there's something in it for everyone. So opportunities to hear about skills from the future world of work, and for those looking to upskill to leading in a digital world for senior business leaders. All the sessions are recorded, so even if you can't attend the live event, be sure to sign up so you can watch later. Now, each Festival of the Future session will last about 45 minutes, and most of the sessions will be hosted through Microsoft Teams.
And the sessions are aimed at anyone and everyone, from schools to businesses, from children through to the retired, and some for unemployed to help develop their digital skills. Really important currently. We've already got over 8,000 people signed up, so it's going to be really busy. So Aidan, how do you find out a bit more?
Well, you could Google it or use any other search engine. Dorset Council, Festival of the Future. We've got a big menu chart there and you can choose your events. Now, it's all very exciting, but Matt, why are we sat here in our virtual camper vans at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday morning?
Well, with so much going on over the next 3 days, we just thought it'd be really helpful if we could help signpost people to some of the headline acts, but also some of the lower key acts who are nevertheless just as exciting. Try and imagine that we're Joe Wiley at Glastonbury, Aidan.
Joe Wiley at Glastonbury, more Anton Deck maybe, or Bert and Ernie perhaps.
Maybe. So over the next 3 mornings, we're going to have a bit of a chat, looking at what's coming up today, the events we've seen. We've got a couple of guests popping in on Wednesday and Thursday, and somebody possibly even today, I think. And depending on how it's going, we can get into a bit of digital banter with anyone following us on Twitter. So follow us at #FutureFest and #DigitalDorset. With such a big event, it's obviously easy for people to get lost around that festival. So Aidan, any tips on the virtual sitemap?
Yeah, Matt, I'll talk you through that in a minute. But where we are right now is we're currently parked in our vans by the main stage where most of the things are happening. And there's lots of sound checks going on in the background. But I think if we look out the window, we can see somebody that's about to pop in. It looks like Robin Knowles.
Hey, Robin, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good stuff. Good to see you, Robin. Robin, you're the Chief Exec of Digital Leaders, and you've been coordinating this National Digital Leaders Week. Thanks for popping in. Can we ask you a few questions?
Far away.
Brilliant. So a simple one, an easy one this time in the morning. Very smart, by the way, Robin. You're looking out of your tent for the festival this morning.
I haven't worn a tie for a very long time, but I've been on a diet, and I can finally get my collar closed. So I thought, in honour of the Festival of the Future, I should pop a tie on.
Fabulous. Well, avoid all those food stands that we usually have at the festivals. Then that's my advice.
Always try to.
So, what is Digital Leaders, and when did it start, Robin?
Well, we're actually 10 years old this October, so we have been around for quite a long time. It's a platform that provides free writing, lots of blogs, roundtables, events, summits like Digital Leaders Week. And there's just so much demand for knowledge about digital transformation, and there's loads of people out there, government funded and private sector and non-profit, who want to help people with digital transformation. I think we have become a platform where you can find the people that can help you. You can sort of start building your go-to phone list of people, and it's about a peer-to-peer relationship. People join as individuals. They're not paying. There's no kind of hierarchy. We treat everybody equal. Yeah. And also it's cross-sector, which is really important, because you really need to get out of your industry bubble if you're going to find really find what's going on, what's going to impact on you, and to find people in other industries or other sectors that are doing things that you can use and borrow and share. So we think digital leadership is about acting, kind of people getting out there and making change. And then we think it's really important to celebrate that. And I mean, a lot of the people talking during Digital Leaders Week are really celebrating and sharing, which is really important. And then always learning. And that's a tough one because, I left university a long time ago. It is quite difficult sometimes for people like myself in our 50s to, kind of, do you have an innate learning bug where you're constantly learning and learning, or do you find it quite tough to get yourself out doing short courses and finding out new things?
I think that learning piece is really, really important. But we're just so impressed. I mean, obviously, we think we've got the best event this week down in Dorset, and we're delighted that the
it's
main
a great
man,
event.
Robin, you've joined us. But how many events are taking place across the country? Do you know?
I think there's 280. We had another 2 loaded up yesterday for the end of the week, so I think we're on 280. We know there's 388 speakers giving their time for free, as well as all those events we've just talked about being free. So it's I think there's 50,000 sessions have been booked now. So there's going to be 50,000 kind of moments where people are going to be able to log on and take part. I mean, people are busy, so they probably won't come to everything in person.
Yeah.
But the platform we're using, that you're using as well, allows you to kind of load up everything that's happened, the recordings, and then everyone that's booked in gets sent the recording, even if they didn't make it on the day. So people can catch up later and build an archive of really useful things that they know they want to know, but maybe they're just too busy to find out about. And we're across 10 regions, so obviously the Southwest and yourselves in Dorset, but we're in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and the rest of the UK. And that's why on Monday morning it was so great that the 4 digital ministers, so Caroline Dinenage for the UK, and then Ben McPherson, the minister in Scotland, Lee Waters in Wales, and Conor Murphy, the minister for digital in Northern Ireland, kind of all got together virtually and launched the week on Monday morning, which was fantastic.
It's the only way, isn't it, currently?
It is. Well, it would have been really tough to organise 4 launches in, Stormont and the Senate and Whitehall, and try and run all of those independently and make them all meaningful. So in a way, doing it online, virtually, kind of brought it all together and made it more manageable for a small team like ours.
Yeah. And after that, you're in a couple of camper vans in Dorset.
Well, my wife is just a massive camper van fan, so she'll be asking me where this background comes from and how we get it. So
okay.
So, Robin, I'll just ask one final question, because I'm sure you're got to sort of jump around the country virtually as you describe. So the bit that struck me in your opening comment there was you're creating a community here, aren't you? In terms of it's people that you're not having to pay to watch these events, and it's about learning off each other. It's peer to peer, isn't it? There's that real sense of sort of energy that comes from that. It's really, really impressive. So what do you think is the most important for organizations to consider when they're making the most of the opportunities that technology presents? I mean, we've got views obviously as a council, but sort of generally, what do you think is the most important for organizations to consider?
That is a really tough question, because we heard yesterday's annual lecture was given by Tony Danker, who's just stepping up to be Director General of the CBI, and he was saying that the biggest barrier they found, they've just done a piece of research with McKinsey, that the biggest barrier they found was, it is really risky and time consuming and expensive. And a lot of smaller organizations, SMEs, so not micro businesses, but SMEs, just, don't have an appetite for that level of risk and expenditure, particularly if they've tried earlier and it didn't work very well. They also, you didn't ask me what the barriers are, but they also often blame their staff and say they don't think their staff will take it on. But Tony was saying he felt that it's leaders that need to educate themselves to embrace digital. So actually, when the government brought in digital by default, when we started 10 years ago, the reason it went well was not just because Mike Bracken was just an inspired pick to run the government digital service, but because Francis Maud, the minister in the Cabinet Office, really gave proper air cover and leadership to the people he was empowering to make that change, and that allowed them to be risk takers and to fail and to break some eggs and do all the things, you know, which you really need the leader to be behind to make that change. So yesterday at the launch, it was Lee Waters, the Minister for Wales, who talked about digital ignorance and said it was just unacceptable now that leaders, in his case, in the public sector, were ignorant of the technology and the benefits of digital transformation, and that this was holding them back, and that technology has to get out of the back room and into the boardroom, I think was Lee's phrase. So I think it's about leadership. And I would say that because I run an organization called Digital Leaders, but it really is. I think if the people at the top embrace it and decide they're going to do it and stick with it, then an awful lot of the trips and falls and wasted money and false starts that are going to be part of your digital transformation can be borne and absorbed, and no one gets punished, no one gets into trouble.
Robin, I couldn't agree more. As chief executive of an organisation that we built around a digital platform and digital within at the heart of what we're doing, absolutely spot on there. Finish, Robin. That was absolutely brilliant, and we're so grateful for you joining us here in Dorset. And I'm sure you've got a massively.
I brought a coffee. It's early in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got coffee, and I think the stove's on, so I think the bacon sandwiches are cooking up. So come past the vans after
you're punishing me for being on a diet.
Oh, sorry about that, Robin. Listen, that's absolutely brilliant. You know, you're the Mike Evis of the Festival of the Future. There we go. So I hope the rest.
No greater compliment.
I hope the rest of the week goes really well for you, Robin.
Yeah, and thanks so much. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, cheers, Robin. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, that's really fantastic. Great of Robin to pop in and chat to us about stuff going on. And Aidan, so we were just before we saw Robin popping past, we were talking about the event map and the various virtual zones. So do you want to talk us through a little bit of that?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So we obviously, as I've said, we're parked outside the main stage, but other areas we've got the digital learning zone, where it's an opportunity for people to have sessions and learn about digital skills. The innovation tent, where we've got about the opportunity to hear about digital delivery services, and in particular the Dorset economy. And how innovation's helping the economy thrive. We've got a well-being and creativity tent, so a chance to find some try out chair yoga or campervan yoga in your case, a tech tent to hear about some other great work going on in Dorset, and then intriguingly campfire stories. So you can part of the change journey is learning to tell stories and hearing from stories from others. So some really good stuff there, Matt.
So what about the programme? So what's been in Dorset's Festival of the Future over the next 3 days? What's actually caught your eye so far?
Well, from a general point, it feels really vibrant. There's something happening. There's something happening here in Dorset, I reckon. We've got, as we were just saying with Robin, we've got so many people giving up their time to share their knowledge and expertise. Not just from the council, but we've got the health service, we've got community and voluntary sector perspective, as well as we've got some big tech companies such as Microsoft. So a couple of big themes for me, I think. Firstly, you can't avoid it, but the pandemic. So there's a session at 11 today that looks interesting, called Progress, Threats and Harms in 2020, the impact of technology during the pandemic on children and young people. And that's something that's so important for us here at Dorset Council. And then also we've got another theme, I think, is personal learning. Microsoft's running a session about how to make the most of Teams. And so I think, as Robin was saying about digital ignorance, I think there's a way to overcome some ignorance there. And another theme over the next few days is the future of the world of work. And in particular, employee welfare in the workforce, something that when we're all working so remotely, I think it's such a hot topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really important. And certainly just building from what Robin said, one of the sessions that caught my eye was Craig McHugh at 12 noon, who's speaking on leading in a digital world. So if you're an organisational leader and you've just heard what Robin said about you and digital ignorance, then pop along to that session with Craig McHugh at 12 noon. That should be really, really good in terms of there.
Right, Matt, it's 8:15. As you said, the bacon must almost be cooked. So I think we should start to wrap it up there so we can grab some breakfast before the first performance. But now, You're on Twitter, apparently. I hear. Is there anything on Twitter yet? Is anybody watching out there?
Well, they've told you it was a brilliant start to the day, Aidan. Obviously, you're not on Twitter, so you can't see that. And thanks for that, kicking off the festivals in our camper van. So people are just getting really excited about the sessions coming up. So perhaps we'll review a few more of those posts tomorrow and see what they've been saying of that. So okay, folks, that's it for this morning. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow for a look back and a look forward at the Festival of the Future. So Aidan, did you say you were cooking the bacon, or is it my turn again?
I think it's you. I'm doing it tomorrow.
Okay. All right, fab. I'll get it on. I'll put it in the rolls. See you in a sec.